This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max, ADBE Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Options expiration. As we've talked about, Tuesdays are important. Wednesdays and Thursdays also just important. Keep in mind. Why? Well, think about all the options that have to expire and go off. It's going to be wet and wild. Some things up, some things down. Interesting market. Let's dig through it. We had some headlines today that might spur some blow off tops in certain names. I'm genuinely curious to see if you get follow through, especially with these headlines and upgrades at the highs. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Brokers, BROKE with an S. Oh, sorry, RS, brokers. You're really good at recommending things at the highs and telling people to sell at the lows. So be careful, be thoughtful, and let's dig into it. If you're new to the channel, link in the description below. Holler if you need me. Always. Twitter, posting what we see, what's going on. Interesting things today, especially with some of the news. You know, the market cap added between Microsoft and NVIDIA. Look at this. More than 462 names in the S&P 500. More the value of Nike, Wells Fargo, Walt Disney, Morgan Stanley, Intel individually. Wild kind of blow-offs. Now this is, again, the market is liquidity driven. I don't know for sure if today is the top, but that is some very sneaky kind of action that causes short squeeze and all sorts of fun action. We'll see. Again, been wrong, will be wrong, can be wrong. That's part of the game. Probabilities. Again, please check out the channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Watch the videos on options expiration. Got a few of them. It's very important. It's a very important time of the week. You know, it is. Or the month. I'm sorry. Shit. Even the year, quarter. A lot of things go off on this because of the options. If you're not familiar, check out the videos. Also, check out thetradingagent.com. Some of the back to beginnings basic series. Newer stuff at the top. More advanced as you go down into it. Again, always recommend the Marcus account, 5.15%. Stop getting paid 0.1%. For your big money. Also, protect yourself, diversify, get below the $250,000 to $500,000 requirements for FDIC insurance. On that note, let's just get into it. Odds, I mean, it was 97.23% when I left this morning. They tapped on a few more percentage. Great. Odds of a rate hike coming up on July 23rd. Basically a lock. Bitcoin. Talk about chopping at the highs, breaking below. Very clear it needs to hold this mid 29,000s. If it doesn't, is this a double top? Head and shoulders. They call this a him and hers top. I've heard this name, or a different type of M top where it's like a sharp top and then a chop top. We'll see. Like him and hers, like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. You know, I think here's the V versus the M. Does that make sense? Hopefully people get that reference. I'm trying to explain it on the fly. Oil, chop. We've talked about this. Good luck. Natural gas. If you like purgatory, you like choppiness, you like seeing small price moves, there's your game. Dollar. Sorry, I just make myself laugh sometimes. You got to when you're doing this every day during the week for hundreds of what seems like days in a row. Having fun with it, right? Here you go. Talked about dollar volatility, holding range lows. Bonds, same kind of thing. We recommended buying this in the 98, 99 range. So far, so good. But however, please don't be all in. Wait for pullbacks. Maybe it just needs to retest 100. Maybe it retests and make new lows as a trap. You do have the volume down here. Very interesting. VIX, retesting the lows. Okay, sure. Good luck. Choppy bottom again. I've said it a million times. And it's amazing to me, the people in the Discord room, I don't think they pay attention. And maybe it's Peter Ninth or some of these other newer folks. The market does not bottom with a VIX, especially a bear market, just maxing out at 38. Sorry. It just doesn't happen. Now, it doesn't mean that you can have prolonged choppiness and weirdness through a multi-year bear market. Absolutely. That's typically how they last. Again, the COVID stuff and the 2008, 2009 were fast. People don't remember tech bubbles. They don't remember the 1970s. They don't remember certain parts of the 1980s. I mean, it just takes time. Things aren't getting better, but it'll get better when it gets better. Either way, just be safe out there. No one knows anything for sure. Probability-based game. Do the best you can. Roll up your stops. Take profits when you got them. always take into strength. People have a really hard time doing that. I'm telling you, when it feels hard, and some of the folks have been around, and this is the thing, the hard thing is usually the right thing to do. Just keep that in mind, especially in trading, because your emotions cloud your judgment. VIVIX, we talked about holding the higher lows. Doesn't look that bad. SPY popped up today. Retail sales weak. People are arguing maybe they'll start cutting soon. I don't know. We're in the blow off stage. How high? Again, at this point, I'm not even going to try to guess it. I thought this would be the blow off top. Now we're in the OPEX, the Tuesday. Maybe it's the Wednesday or Thursday action. Some people say, well, Dan, it's a new bull market. I'll believe it when I see it. Q. Same kind of thing, hitting the fib extensions. Getting to the point now where every headline is now blowing up. $175 billion in market cap movement. That's nuts. IWM coming back up into the range highs. Keep an eye on it. This one has been lagging tremendously. DIA back near the 350 level. Not surprised, right? Back near the old highs. Keep in mind, their highs were in 2021. Let me zoom out a little bit. You can see it back up. But, hey, you're coming into some referencias. Man, why is that? It's like, oh, why is... Sometimes drawing on the fly just seems so difficult. We are basically there. Is this a fake breakout? Keep in mind, it could be, or if it is a breakout, then it's going to go higher. It's pretty simple. It's pretty binary. Keep it on the spot. Gold, we talked about it rallying. I like seeing it get up into this zone if you were actually going to short, because now you had a decent move. You know, you get $70, $80 in the gold if you want to short it. If not, just keep an eye on it. Again, I don't believe this stuff's going to break out at all. Silver, backfill, pretty aggressive into the upper end of the zone. Choppy, sloppy, just keep an eye on it. GDX miners, are they going to catch up? Like, are they going to catch up? Filling the gap, keep an eye on that wick. Could this be a trap? Because people don't realize, like, just like there's bull traps, there's bear traps. Bear traps, there's bull traps. Getting over levels, failing. Like, this stuff happens. Fake breakouts, it happens. Fake breakdowns, it happens. Fake breakdowns. I hope people pay attention to this, because the charts, the day it happens, you don't think it's a trap. Then the next day you go back and go, oh, shit. Shiitake mushrooms. Our good old friend AG breaking the downtrend. That's cool. Coming into resistance. You can see it's a big volume zone here. Either way, I mean, trend lines are useful, but are they more powerful than volume at price zones? Absolutely fucking not. Excuse my language. AEM, same thing. Rallying back. All looks pretty good. Let's see if it follows through. Could go a little higher. Again, I like the short opportunities better. Because if the market does roll, they're going to beat the crap out of miners. PAAS, same thing. Nice little rallies. Again, we talked about them. Dead cat. If you bought down here on these names, said, hey, it's not the trade I would take, but expected it. So I'm going to give myself credit. And if a few people reached out, give them high five. I mean, they played the trade. Said July seasonality. Said what? Leave it alone in the second quarter. You get a July bump usually in metals and miners. Got it. Telling you. There's a lot of good information here. People just kind of tune out. And again, I don't mind if people tune me out. I don't really care. You do this for long enough, you start realizing there's probabilities, and there's going to be times where, guess what? You're not always winning. People go, oh, you're just wrong. It's like, no, it's a probability-based game. It's kind of like poker. The best players in the world do not win the tournaments every single time, but they do usually finish high. They do well. They exceed consistently. But there are times when they're not right. They're not right. They just lose. Sometimes bad luck, bad circumstances, misreads, bad deal. I mean, whatever you want to call it. Same thing in trading. There's going to be times where you're just not right. It's just get used to it. Don't have an ego. Let it go. Move on. Next trade is always your best trade. Focus on how to execute it best as possible. Taiwan semi looks like a little head and shoulders top. Some of these semis were lagging today. Micron, same kind of thing. Macron. Here it's 50 day. We've talked about that being a slapper. AM Dizzle, another laggard. Can't break out. Just chopping. NVIDIA gets another upgrade. I mean, it's all over the place. Now attempting the channel high again. I mean, you've got to be an idiot to buy up here, but whatever. I guess time will tell. Intel trying to get over the upside target zone from previous. Keep an eye on that. SMH, new all-time highs, right? Okay, we'll see if it breaks out. We will see. Adobe, software name, talked about getting over the 1382 if it could. Zoom out here. This is where it gets a little interesting. I don't have this drawn on the daily, but you're coming in some major reference points on the monthly. So if you're watching Adobe, keep an eye on this area in the 530s. Apple. Someone absolutely crapped all over Apple at the end. I don't know if anyone watched the last 10 minutes. Check this out. Hold on. And they did it yesterday, too. They're doing it today. Back-to-back days where they're just... Here you go. Somebody's distributing. Remember, market makers, big boys, move in the last 10 minutes of the day. Someone's distributing Apple. Doesn't mean it can't go a little higher, it can't chop out, but somebody is trying to sneak out the back door of the Apple party. Amazon, we talked about if you short up here in the mid 130s, congratulations. I love that area. Could it retest? Absolutely. This market holding up, ShopX, absolutely. CRM, CEO sells $100 million worth. People are someone stupid enough to buy it. Good luck. A guy sees this major storm coming. Why would he sell $100 million worth of stock? Everything's fine? I guess so. Guggenheim talked about retesting. Here you go. Here's an example of just retesting relentlessly. Now, some people say, oh, it's a Head & Shoulders top. It was violated. I can't argue that because here, a violation of a Head & Shoulders top with breaking like the trend can be bullish. Don't argue that. But see what happens up here. Because, again, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. And I'm telling you, at some point, there's some... what's the best way to describe it? It's very dangerous how it's setting up, but again, you got to do what you got to do. If you got to reshort every day, you're probably getting painful. But if you're getting in names, Airbnb looks like it's hanging in. Are they okay? Watching some of these other areas on certain names, they look all right. But I'm trying to remind people, like, don't beat yourself up. Being wrong, again, the people who are like super angry and reaching out, they expect perfection and they're idiots. Don't expect perfection. Microsoft gonna start charging $30 a month. Nice breakout liquidity on the volume. Same thing, end of the day. Did anyone see, like, oh, look at the short squeeze it created, and then look at the end. Again, sneaky, someone was using that. Let it run up as high as they can get it, and then someone used that as exit liquidity. NDAQ, we've talked about this. Wait for it to bounce. Short it. NASDAQ, the volume is not going to ever be the same in the next bear market. MicroStrategy, we talked about watching this area up here. Now, how high? You're just in this box. It's the box of pain. Do you think we'll just take off? You go 260 up to 475 in straight line. It's going to be profit taking. Netflix, I have no clue why this thing is rallying. Whatever. Going into earnings, right? And earnings are Wednesday, tomorrow after the close. In the morning, you got ASML, Goldman Sachs, Halliburton, MTB Bank, USB, and NDAQ. Remember, it is earnings season, so be careful with your trades. Roblox, especially like you have Tesla and Netflix after the close tomorrow. Roblox, nice little bounce here. But we talked about it just in a big, choppy, sloppy range. Call me when it gets under 30. Tesla, said watch for the channel. Is this a breakout? It's really tough to know right in front of earnings because this could be a bull trap. Or it could gap up on earnings, retest this area, and then get absolutely unloaded on. What is going to happen? Again, probability based. Do you really want to short it now? Do you want to buy puts? You're taking big gambles. You want to buy calls? You're now at a point where the risk and the reward either direction doesn't really make sense. X, we talked about some of the global growth names and material names rallying on China stimulating. Well, China's stimulating because things aren't good. Keep an eye on it. Nucor, taken out. No, can't. Sorry, did not take out the previous highs. Thought it was close. Sorry, my guess. Keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. Going into earnings. Caterpillar getting into what I consider the ideal short zone, right? Filling the gap, getting back to the highs. This is what's so hard about the market in the place it is. Like Caterpillar breaking a new 52-week highs. Could it continue? Hard to know. At this point, trapping. Last earnings, right? What was it? April 27th. So it's be July 27th coming up soon. Could that mark the bottom? Could the earnings mark the top? That's the kind of things you have to remember about the market and trading. VALE, talked about this going nowhere fast. Yawner. Arrow, holding up really well. I like this name on pullbacks later when market weakness takes over. CCJ, retesting the 32, 33 range. Is it breaking out? I don't know. Kathy Wood buying at the highs. Would she do that? She sells at the lows sometimes. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. C. Efferton. Ag names, we talked about them holding up. Interesting wick as it tested ranges. That's why you gotta know the spots. Mosaic, same kind of thing. Gets up into like the 38s. It's getting into this range, and we just stretched this over. Didn't think we'd get up here, but again, we talked about it. If you bought these at the bottom, do you trust them? No, but hey, they were oversold. We talked about this a million times. Talked about it. Maybe the 100-day. Keep an eye on it. AA Aeron. Man, how's this thing not? It's interesting. They have earnings tomorrow after the close too. Chopping. No love. XLF. We talked about. Chopping in the 34s. Got to give Curran some credit. He said maybe 35. It makes sense. Filling the gap here. Maybe it's you're at the 20 month. It's hard to see it going much higher. Could it get up into the low mid 35s? Yeah, I mean, we talked about this over and over and nauseum. Dead cat bounces, oversold rallies. Like, look at the volume. Market makers got to do what, right? Now it rallies back. Not surprised. Especially with the market holding up. JP Morgan getting a little tired up here post earnings, right? Look at the red candle, and they get this fake green candle and lighter volume. Then they get a doji. Look for a left-right combo. Big green, indecision, then look for big red. If that is, that's usually a top. Morgan Stanley, again, I think they tried to rally on Morgan Stanley's numbers, which, again, what's I don't even know what's good or bad anymore. I mean, again, with non-GAAP earnings, I mean, you can basically fudge everything. They can write off everything. They can make everything look great. I mean, it's, again, like, accounting is now a skill. It's a wizardry skill. Watch this zone up here. Goldman Sachs rallied on that, of course. Keep an eye on it. We talked about these things could rally more, especially going into earnings. There you go. Be careful. You don't want to see them rally into earnings, though, if you're a bull. Because the bear is, you're like itching. You're like, yes, come on. All good news price in. Carry, interesting action today. Little decent volume. Gets over the 100-day. But again, based on some of the bank recent earnings, would you not be surprised? Now, this is where it's like, choose your zones, and you're going to be right. I have people stalking trades, and I'm like, I love it. Don't get mad if you're wrong. Just don't get mad. Like, that's just part of it. Well, I want to show. All right, well, here you go. It breaks over it. Well, now you're coming into the next zone. I mean, let's just stretch this out. I mean, 47 seems very possible, right? Like, look at all this right here. It's always possible. Just keep that in mind. Check out the monthly. Again, this is why if you're looking at a trade, start on the monthly. Look, do yourself a damn favor. Watch this area. It fucking... Oops, God, I don't know why I feel like cursing today. It matters. It just matters. All right, moving on. XBI, you think this would be up today? Another flat one. Chopping. Another wiki day. Solar, is on fire. It's going to continue. Talked about shorting up here. Love it. Said watch the 200-day. Nice little pop. ENPH, again, wait for the pops. 192. I don't know. If that's what you want, I think First Solar and Sedge were the way better pops to short. But again, going into earnings, talked about, here you go. There you go. You're welcome. If anyone took the trade, hit me up. Let me know. First Solar said 200 to be great. Look at this bullshit. Back test the trend line today. Said that yesterday. Don't be surprised. Literally hits it to a T. Doink. You're welcome if you're paying attention. Again, I only know only a few hundred people watch these videos, and then I only get a few comments here and there. And again, most of the comments are praise. Some are some cheese, and it's like, whatever, man. You take what you can from the trades. I'm trying to give you best information. You do this 20 years, and anybody who sells you on certainty is selling you a crock of shit. I'm telling you right now. Trying to be honest. Losing happens. Being wrong happens. If you're not familiar with that, then you don't know, and you're learning from the wrong people. It's like trying to say, like, hey, start your own business. You can't fail. Start your own restaurant. You can't fail. Do anything. No, you just start to learn. Like, there's certain things and characteristics of repeating patterns. Like, trading is just one of those. And you can get to a pretty good high win rate, 80%, but that still leaves you 20% of the time you're going to be wrong. And sometimes you can have multiple wrongs in a row. And then guess what? You go on a hot streak. It's just that simple. All right, let's end it with oil and gas. Keep an eye on HYG up here. Nice rally after some pullback. Bleh. UNG. Again, same thing. We're expecting choppiness. Not much to say. XOP coming back up, right? 200-day. Said watch what's happening up here. Another tap and fail, potentially. ExxonMobil. Man, you would think this thing would be up today. Talking about, man, it is hanging on for dear life. Watch the 98 range for the actual monster implosion. Occidental holding up, chopping. Again, Buffett's just selling calls left and right. PXD, nice little rally. Just, I mean, again, you can trade all these things, holding the 20, 50, 100-day cross. You know it's going to act as support. EQT, we talked about 40 area, backs off, bounces back. Okay, cool. Let's end it with Flex LNG. Again, we've talked about, love this name long term. I think we're going to export a lot of natural gas. All right, if you got real estate questions, please hit me up. I know there's folks who are struggling out there with what to do with their house. You're looking to buy, you're looking to sell. I'm telling you right now is the time to start looking into the process of buying. Interest rate's probably going to go lower if we're watching the TLT, and if you're looking to buy and you want to lock in a low rate, you want to see people selling their houses, maybe it's not this week or next month, but I'm telling you, be prepared. Know the market. Know your market. Know what's the right price for stuff. Look for multifamily. Oh, it's going to be amazing. All right, talk to you later.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.